Hi there. I'm Chris Thomas, and this is Land Flipping 101, where you can learn how to earn your financial freedom through land investing, even if you're a complete beginner with no experience. Because I'm sharing with you how I'm successfully doing it. I'm going after larger payoff deals and fewer deals, targeting retail values of at least $40,000 with the goal of doubling my investment. And then, whenever possible, using simultaneous or double closing strategies to reduce risk. And now, the key to my success has just been consistent daily action. I put the property under contract to purchase with a 6-month closing. My contract allows me to market it on the MLS. And when I find a buyer, I line up the closing of both on the same day and then simultaneously close using transactional funding. I usually get a 5% interest rate for just a few hours, really barely anything. And I can close twice because I can earn 100% return on my investment. So there's enough room in the deal to justify the extra closing costs. My first deal earned me 412% return on investment. The buy price was 34,000 and the sale price was 140,000. I just love land flipping so much because I can do the whole thing online without ever visiting the property or fixing anything. It really fits my lazy lifestyle. I definitely found financial freedom and then some. And you can do it too. You can start as small or as large as you would like. You can invest your own money or use one of dozens of investment options, such as a double close, without risking your own money. And today's topic is, who buys my land? And I'm going to get into that, but first I wanted to answer some questions. And I'm on the road today. I'm traveling in Texas, so I just had to pull over off the highway. And I would love it if you have any questions you would like me to answer live. Just please feel free to go ahead and do that. Post those up in the chat, and I will answer them. Okay, so I've got my phone here. I'm trying to look at the questions. Okay, the first question I see is Aubrey Black says, how do you make a profit without risking your own money? And Aubrey, that's a great question. I have found several ways. I mean, there are many ways you can do this without your own money. You can simultaneously close using transactional funding, which is what I do, which means I just have a line of credit and I borrow against it for a few hours and then I pay it back like the same day. Also, I have other financial people that I work with who will fund my whole deal for me where it's none of my money. I've even found a title company that'll do that for me. So it's really just a matter of networking and talking to people. And, I could certainly help you. If you have a deal, please bring it to me. I would love to look at it with you and help you get it funded. Because really money, it shouldn't be your biggest concern. I know that's hard to believe because I was like that too when I first started. I was like, how could I ever invest if I don't have any cash? But the truth is, that's not the right thinking. I've learned that the right thinking is get educated, get smart about how to find deals, and when you find deals, you will get the money. Hi Ray, I'm between Dallas. I just flew into Dallas from Nashville, and I'm driving to Waco. So honestly, I've just pulled over, and I'm not even sure where I am exactly. Somewhere in between there. And then, oh Aubrey, speaking of your question, I see that Shamar Dos Santos answered your question, saying, based off what I know, you don't have to put in money. It's like wholesaling houses. You find the deal and assign it to a buyer. But I could be wrong though, Shamar. And you know what? That's true. You can assign contracts. That is another way you could do it. That's not how I'm doing it, but you can assign your contract when you find it. I personally think that's a lot more work for less money, but that is a good option. And then Shamar also said, where do I start? What are some starting points? And I already put an answer in here, really just, and anyway, anytime you're going to start a business, you just need to first make sure you have a mailing address, a phone number, a business name, And then I also mentioned that you could set up a third-party mailing account, and what that is just how, see, when I send, the way that I find my prospects, prospective sellers, is by sending out blind offers in the mail, and direct mail really was a good concept for like house flipping at one time, but it became so competitive that people really don't do letters for houses that much anymore. But for land, it's so not competitive that that still works. And so I use a third party mailing account, which just, I use Rocket Print and Mail. There are dozens of third party mailing accounts, though, where companies that'll just do your mailing for you. And then I go to Data Tree to get the data. I upload it to Rocket Print, which is the one I use, along with my blind offer letter, and they mail it out for me. That's really how you get started in this business. And Data Tree has all the property ownership records for property owners that you would need. I hope that helps. Okay, I'll answer a couple more in just a second. Ryan Fuller, I see your question. Can you help me look for funding? Absolutely. Yes, I can. Okay, so my topic today is who buys my land. So I'm sending out these blind offers, and right now I've got about 42 deals in my pipeline. Yes, I have really turned up the volume. And so who is selling to me? Because I'm only offering 25% of the retail market value on the property. So the people who sell to me is really the subject of today's discussion, because what I'm looking for are non-wanters. These are people who just don't care about the land. They don't have time, or maybe they don't have interest in dealing with it. And sometimes they've inherited it. They may have purchased it 20 years ago with the intent to do something with it, but then they never did. Or maybe they used to take their family to the land for vacations, and now the family's moved on to other things. The point is that they're in a situation where they have no use for the land and they just want to get rid of it. People think that, people like you and I think that the best way to find sellers is to target tax delinquent lists of landowners. And I would say, it is possible that you could make a deal with someone before the tax foreclosure sale. But I don't do it that way, because I have found that most people I purchase from have paid their taxes. In fact, one sweet lady I spoke with just this week shared with me how she's been paying the taxes on some inherited property that she's owned for the last 20 years. But she really hasn't been to the property in a long, long time. So she's ready to sell it and just get rid of it. But when I investigated that further, the property was not even in her name. So I'm a little worried that she may have been paying taxes on property that she doesn't legally own. And that is a sad fact. And believe it or not, that happens to more people than you might imagine. People think they own it because they're paying the taxes. And if their name's not on the deed, they don't own it. So long story, just to say that I'm just looking for people in a situation. These are non-wanters, and I just find the best way to reach them is by sending out a blind offer directly to the property owner, and their property is not listed on the MLS. Okay, these are not listed properties. Kelly McReynolds asked, where can I find a list of all properties of 100 plus acres? Well, I use Data Tree to get all my data. So that's just a matter of public records. So Kelly, I would say, pick an area that you want to mail to, and then you can go to the county to get the records for free, or you could subscribe to someone like Data Tree to get the records formatted all the same way. And you can just put in the filter that says all property owners in this area that have 100 or more acres. So I hope that helps. Now, I will just go back for a second and talk more about the people who are buying my property. So I'm also selling to investors, other investors. So there's so much equity still in my deals when I sell them that investors are often buying them, and they're flipping them. Sometimes they're flipping them because there's still enough room in the deal. And that's because I'm buying at 25% of retail and I'm selling at about 75% of retail. I have one today. It's 15 acres that's closing today in North Carolina.
It's 15 acres. I bought it for $25,000, and I have a contract that's closing today for $65,000. I'm so excited about that because I had to buy that one outright. Some different things happened to that caused that, but I had to buy it outright, and I've held it for a few months. So I'm always relieved when I can sell the one that I actually had to buy, one that I own. So really hoping that goes.